Colin Turner.
And I'm Andy Borenstein.
And we extend a warm welcome to you to the World Ultimate and Guts World Finals taking place here in Great Britain. Here, in actual fact, is Colchester, one of the old Roman towns in Great Britain. In actual fact, at one stage, Colchester was the capital of Britain. That was in the Roman times, and surrounding us here in the playing pitch is an old Roman wall. You're very welcome to Colchester for what should be great finals, the juniors, the ladies, and the open final. They've been practicing and training and playing here for a whole week. Let's talk first of all about the open final, the men's final, United States of America against Sweden. Let's sort of turn the clock back and take a look of how the Americans and the Swedes reached the final. Andy, you've been watching most of the games. How did the Americans get here?
Well, the tournament is set up that everyone plays a round robin. There are 15 countries represented, from as far away as Japan and Canada, and of course the United States and Western Europe is represented. And they all play each other over the course of five days, and usually 3 games a day. And the Americans were undefeated. They won 14 games, and the Swedes won 13. The only loss being to the Americans. I believe the score was 15-6. Actually, it was 15-7.
Right. Now, we have the disc in our hand, the flying disc. Tell us something about this game of ultimate or flying disc.
Sure, Colin. The game itself was invented in 1968 in New Jersey in the United States, and it was played on a parking lot it was invented by some school children there. And since then, well, you can see it here. 15 nations are now playing it, and it's quite an international event. The United States have dominated the world since 1983, with the Rude Boys from Boston winning, and then in 1984 in Luzerne, Switzerland, with the Windy City team from Chicago being victorious. The U.S. team is made up of the national champions of our country. The team that represents the United States here at this tournament is from San Francisco. They're called the Flying Circus. They beat a team from New York City called Kaboom in the national finals, 21-19. It was a great match.
So when I said the World Finals, Andy, this in actual fact is the 3rd World Finals. What about the growth of the sport? Because it is a very new and young sport, only, what, 10, 15 years old?
Well, to give you an example about the growth of the sport, a few years ago there were, say, a handful of European teams, and especially among the women as well. And now, this tournament, you have new teams from Switzerland and Holland and other places like that never existed. It's growing. Denmark, for the first time, has fielded a team. They have 11 players in their entire country. They're here at this tournament playing.
What about the rules of the game? Because we have the disc or Frisbee in our hand, or flying disc as we would call it. Tell us a little bit about the rules of the game for viewers at home.
Okay, well, the field size of Ultimate is played on a pitch or a field that's 70 yards long, 40 yards wide with 2 25-yard end zones. There are 7 players on each team, and they attempt to pass the disc up and down the field into the opponent's end zone with the intention of someone scoring a goal. What happens is that 2 teams are on the field. One is offense, one is on defense. They move the disc up and throw it toward the goal. The offense attempts to catch it in the end zone. The defense tries to prevent this by intercepting, blocking the disc, or forcing the offense to make bad throws where it goes out of bounds or hits the pitch or the field. And in that case, the defense becomes offense, the offense becomes defense. You'll see a lot of this during the course of the match, and we'll try to point that out during our commentary today.
But for you viewing at home, one of the most important things is that you need to know when someone scores. So what we're actually saying, Andy, is that when the team go on the attack, or as you say, the offense, one of their players must be in the end zone to receive the flying disc.
Absolutely. A pass is thrown into the end zone. It must be caught by a player of the same team. A goal, that's what's called a goal. A score, it's worth 1 point. And this game, the championship between Sweden and the Flying Circus of USA, will be a game to 21. The first team to reach 21 are the champions here of this tournament and of the world. The halftime will be at 11.
One of the things you will discover about this great game of Ultimate, and we're going to see a great final, is that all the players out there will really have to be fit. This game demands a great deal from all the players.
This is going to be a great match. The Americans have won all their games, but the Swedes gave them a good first half when they played. It was 8-5. They ended up losing. I think it was 15-6 was the final of that one. But no, it was 15-6. It's going to be a tough match. Peter Martin of the San Francisco Flying Circus of the United States to begin the play of the 1986 World Ultimate Championships. And there's the pull. Beauty.
That's a real long pull right down, and the Swedes pick it up, and they start out.
America starts out right in his zone. Interception by Howard Jaffe of America. He's on the left to Bert Sick. He passes it over to Peter Martin. Martin directing the offense. Steve Korlang makes a nice cut. He's out. Noel Kaufman makes a nice cut. Nice grab by Noel Kaufman. He looks right, left, fakes left. Steve Korlang, nice try. Peter Martin running down the disc from Noel Kaufman. Oh, beautiful grab. Beautiful grab.
Did he grab it inside the line? That's the question.
Yes, he did. He sets up, swings a disc to Bert Sick. Bert throws it to Howard Jaffe. Jaffe looks to the corner. It's a goal.
Great start for the Americans.
Really, that was just great. Marty from the Circus, Marty Stazak, scores the first goal of the World Championships, and the United States goes up 1-0 against Sweden.
That was a bright start. If we take a look at it in slow motion, you will see a great build-up from Noel Kaufman on the far side, and he came right across. Great play again.
Well, one thing that I think we should point out early, Colin, is what type of offense the U.S. is going to use. When it gets to the sideline, they look toward the middle of the field to swing the disc around, and that's what Howard Jaffe did, where he hit Marty Stazak for the goal in the near corner. It was a nice play. But what's interesting to me is that the Americans started out in a zone, and they got the turnover right away by the Swedes. I think the Swedes were a little confused by the zone. They didn't think they were going to see it this early in the game. And as a result, the turnover resulted in a goal for the U.S. It's 1-0 now. And here's the pull from Ron Olinar, which we'll refer to during our broadcast as Ronar. He likes that as his nickname. Swedes pick it up, move it up the left side toward the middle. Nice.
A fumble by Per Gustafsson. But Per doesn't like the decision, maybe. He's got it again.
There's the pass up the sideline. Nice play to Danny Eriksson, number 1 for Sweden. He's on the left side. Eriksson passes off to the near side. Oh, beautiful block there. Oh, Brian O'Hay coming up big with a block in the middle of the field. He looks left, hits Steve Korlang. Look how fast the Circus is moving to Tony Zwag. Sets up the offense. Noel Kaufman fakes right, goes left. Oh, Brian O'Hay making a nice cut to the right. Here's the swing movement. Noel Kaufman, nice try by the Swede. And a goal, America. Alan Siegel, it's 2-0. Beautiful swing work by the U.S. The Swedes, after that turnover, really couldn't get into the action, Colin. That was a really nice grab by, that really was a nice grab by Alan Siegel. And that's Danny Weiss, who's got the Frisbee for America. He's an institution. He really is. He's a great player. He started his career at Cornell University. He moved out to the West Coast in 1980 and was one of the original, well, let's not say the original, but one of the founding members, I guess, of the Circus. He's a tremendous player. We'll be calling his name out throughout the game. Watch this pull that he gets a lot of distance on this. Weiss with the throw. Oh, excellent. Very nice pull. And it sails out of bounds, so the Swedes will take it from the middle of the field. Kenneth Johansson will pick it up.
The Americans have got a great start here, Andy. They're 2-0 up, and the Swedes haven't even started to get into this game.
Well, we'll see what happens on this possession. There's a nice pass against the flow. Oh, they're moving now, up the sideline.
Great pass again,
Yeah,
Nicky
Johansson makes a nice leaping grab.
That's Kenneth Johansson. There's 2 of them in the side.
And a block. Oh,
Great
beautiful.
block.
That's Joe Hewitson, better known as Jersey Joe. He's from New Jersey. He likes that nickname. Nice block. Pass across, Brian O'Hay to Danny Weiss. Weiss fakes, looks left. Again, he gets it left. Oh, fall. It's Mike McEwen with the disc. McEwen fires to Barney Bruner. Bruner across the field. Oh,
Great
it's a nice play by Liddy. It's a nice play. Danny Weiss on the right side with the disc, directing the offense. Throws across, wide open. Back to Brian O'Hay. And Liddy, ooh, wasn't in. He wasn't in. He tried to. A very interesting play there. He was out of bounds. He tried to throw it back in the field, but the Swedes got it. Very interesting play. Johansson with the disc, unmarked here on the near side is Mickey Johansson.
Yeah.
A brother combination. Good defense by the Flying Circus.
I think he's looking around for Kenny, his brother, but Kenny wasn't available.
Danny Weiss marking the sideline trap. The Circus is using the sideline defense, trying to force the Swedes up the sideline.
You can see Weissman calling out the time there. This is the Swedes on the attack. That's
Gordon Nordist.
Oh, and that was near. Right. That was very close to the Swedes getting on the score sheet. Still 2-0 to the United States.
Yes, and Mike McQuillan will bring it into play. Interesting pass at the sideline to Danny Weiss. Weiss swings it to Barney Bruner. Across field to Brian O'Hay, and he drops it. Swedes on the attack. Johansson fakes. Again, the side trap. They throw across the trap. That's Garsholt, and a goal. Sweden's first goal, 2-1. Forsgren scores the first goal for Sweden. It's 2-1.
That was nice play by the Swedes. The Americans were inclined to dominate them, and the Swedes were taking things very, very slow. That was good.
That was a nice point by the Swedes. They capitalized on that Flying Circus or the U.S. turnover. And they're right back in this one after a shaky start, Colin.
Yes, I was a little bit surprised that they were sort of standing off, the Johansson brothers. They were standing off, Mickey in particular wearing the number 10, and they were standing off a little bit, and I was a little bit worried that they weren't going to sort of get the grips with the Americans. And I think if they're going to win this final, the Swedes, they will have to get the grips with the Americans immediately, right from the off.
Now, right now, the Swedes are ready to pull off 2-1. America is ahead, and there's a nice ball.
That's from Lars Bertsibison.
Bert Sick takes the disc on the fly, up to Howard Jaffe on the left side. Tony Zweig makes a cut to the middle, give it to him. Zweig fakes, hits Bert Sick, running down the right. Nice grab by Sick. He sets up the offense, Jaffe. Over to Zweig, throwaway.
Throwaway from Jaffe. This will allow the Swedes, and they're piling men forward.
Yalovik with a hammer
down.
throw,
yes,
upside down. Goal,
yes.
Sweden's 2-2. Yalovik scores, throws the goal to Lars Vinson. An excellent goal, it's 2-2, and the crowd erupts.
That was a brilliant move by the Swedes. Once they got the turnover, they knew exactly where they were going.
They did. The throwaway by the Americans was unexpected. They picked up the disc and threw an upside-down throw, and that was to Botvidson for the goal. That was the first upside-down throw we've seen this game, Colin. We'll probably see more.
Yes, exciting for the crowd. You could see immediately they knew exactly what the Swedes were going to do, and they were all for it.
And it's now 2-2. It's a game. Game is to 21. Halftime's at 11. It's 2-2, so we're early on in the match.
That's Urban Norfist starting with the long pull. That's a long pull.
That was a nice pull. Swag over to Bert Sick. Bert throws an upside-down hammer throw to Rick Geyer. Rick Geyer, formerly of Stanford University, fakes, and they throw across a great block
again.
Oh, really? That was Olofsson with the block.
And
Mickey Johansson picks it up on the goal line. Good defense, but there's a Swedish goal. The man who got the block, Hanken Olofsson, is the man who scores the goal, and Sweden, for the first time, is ahead 3-2, and the crowd here is going crazy. The European champions, the Swedes, are the favorite of this crowd, and they lead for the first time in the match, 3-2. They were down 2-0.
It's funny that the Swedes suddenly started to maybe move their game up a gear, and that's what's actually happened. And I can tell you that on the other side of the park at the moment, Andy, your American colleagues and players have quite a few worries on their faces.
Well, they are talking about what's going wrong. There's no doubt about that. The Swedes are pumped. They believe they can beat the Americans. Americans may have come into this game a little bit cocky, and now they're getting a taste of it. The Swedes are here to play. This is going to be a great game. And there's the pull from Sweden.
And that's a long one again, but it's going out of bounds.
Beautiful pull.
Yeah.
Landed just outside the line. Peter Martin of Flying Circus, San Francisco Flying Circus, will bring it to the line. He'll be marked closely by Dan Erickson, it looks like.
You see Peter Martin down there calling signals to the American players, and they've got a lot of action up front. They've got a lot of people moving forward, and that's a good, unlucky. It was nearly a great swing up this side.
It was a set play. The Americans had called a set play to the right side. Danny Weiss threw it up to Barney Brunner, who attempted to try to get a pass to Rick Geyer for the goal, but it was over his head. The Swede may have had a piece of it. Now Sweden on the counterattack. Oh, they're playing very, very well. Extremely well. Wide open.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Wide open. And there's the fourth goal. Oh, winning. 4-2.
Yes, indeed. Another goal. That's Perlof Morn, the number 7, getting the goal. But a great build-up again. Very positive move by the Swedes.
4-2 Sweden leads. In fact, let's see how this offensive point works.
Andres with the long pull. Does it stay in?
Noel Kaufman to Bert Sick. Over to Mike McQuillan. Downfield to Danny Weiss. Beautiful headman pass, lead pass to Jersey Joe. Jersey fakes, outlets it to Bert Sick.
Again.
And Noel Kaufman makes a cut, but it's Ronar on the right side. He looks for the outlet to Danny Weiss. Weiss across to Bert Sick. They got the flow going here. They've got the flow here. It's Mike McQuillan over to Weiss. Weiss fakes right, fakes again right, looks left.
But he can't find anyone at the moment because... Oh, yes, you're great.
Sick. Noel Kaufman to Bert Sick. It's 4-3 Sweden.
But Sick has hurt himself. He's definitely holding his wrist. Did he not hurt himself in getting that goal? It looked as if he did.
Well, actually, what happened, Colin, earlier in the week, he was playing against England, a match that I saw, and he laid out an incredible grab for a goal, and he badly bruised that right side. The doctors looked at him, asked him not to play. He was questionable for the start of this game, but he's out there now. He's an intense competitor, another member of Stanford University, as our former member of Stanford University, as some of these players in San Francisco are.
Tough guy, Mr. Sick. Doesn't live up to his name, as we've been saying. But the Americans clawing themselves back into the game. They now trail 4-3 to the Swedes.
And I think the difference on that last point was that the Circus really moved the disc. They held it for no more than 2 or 3 seconds. They swung it very well. The Swedes were chasing them all over the field. And then Bert Sick made a great grab. And here's the pull by Mike McQuillan.
The Swedes have taken it, but again, they've got to be positive. They've got to come out of defense pretty quickly, and they do. Good movement here. That's Danny Erickson getting
intercepted
it forward
by Tony Zweig. Nice interception. He was playing the outfield back there. Up to Steve Corlang. Steve Corlang fakes, and he throws it away.
Throws it away. It's going to be left, and it's going
Anders
to be...
Botvizin picks it up.
He got a good goal earlier on.
He sure did. He helped Swedes get back in this one. Foul call in this game of Ultimate. The players themselves call the fouls. There are no referees. It's in the spirit of the game, sportsmanship, honesty. Good try by Brian O'Hay. Here's a Swedish goal.
Danny Erickson. Erickson found his man. Beautiful position. The number 14, Botvizin, the man who got a goal earlier on, has got another one. Beautiful position from Erickson, finding him out there.
It's interesting, Lars Botvizin, number 14, number 15, Anders Botvizin. They're brothers, and they're playing extremely well for Sweden today. It's 5-3, Sweden over the U.S. That was nice work, really was.
The one thing about sides going forward, Andy, and we said this earlier on when the Swedes were playing in the junior final, sides going forward when they have possession, if they're very positive, it more than likely will always end up in a goal.
Yes, they have a lot of confidence right now. They're playing very well, and the crowd is behind them. That's Tony Zweig off the Swedish pull to Brian O'Hay. Brian O'Hay passes it to Tony Zweig. Zweig up the sideline all alone, but he dropped it. Alan Siegel all alone. Should have went with 2 hands, but went with only one. He had no one in front of him. Now the Swedes on the far sideline. Circus using a sideline defense, trying to force the Swedes only up the sideline.
Mickey Johansson.
It's Johansson with the disc. He must be getting up in the count. It's over to Goran Nordsitz. Nordsitz over to
Johansson again,
Kenneth Johansson. And I think we have a collision up there and a foul. Players again call all their fouls, Colin. Unlike any other sport I've seen.
Yes, indeed. But an injury to Orban Norwitz. He's gone off with an injured wrist. So the Swedes send on a substitute. You can see Norwitz back there holding his wrist. He's going to go and take it to the doctor to take a look at. But you can see the big support here that the Swedes have. And they're in a strong position at the moment. They lead 5-3. The game is early, but the action is fierce and ferocious. Very exciting from both America and Sweden. Another great goal by the number 9.
Håkan Olofsson. And John Peter Godshall threw a really nice pass on the left side.
But that was something special. That was something special by Olofsson because he knew it was going to dip and he got down there for it.
He hit the turn.
Uer is back with us from Finland. How does he think the game is going between the United States and Sweden?
Well, I think Sweden is doing really well at the moment. This is exactly what they were hoping to do, get ahead at the beginning of the game and upset the Americans mentally. And I think they're doing it. This is going to be a really exciting game now.
Well, it certainly is. Mr. Bert Sick, can he do something for the Americans? At the moment, they trail 6-3. Bert Sick has to do something, but he's being blocked out. He's starting a move.
That's Tony Zwag on the near side. Over back to Berksit. Here comes the Stanford offense that the Circus tries to run. In the middle of the field, they run cuts. Ron Olnar with a great grab, sending Anders Botvizin to the field. They went to Zwag, over to Peter Martin. No one's on Martin. He's got a wide open throw. Doesn't use it.
No, he does. He finds Bert Sick right in the middle of the park. And there's a great long throw and a great goal for America.
Bert Sick to Ron Olnar. Ronar with the goal makes it 6-4 for the Swedes. It's the Americans' 4th goal. And the Circus makes some changes. They take the whole team off. Perhaps they're putting a defensive team on, Colin.
Yes, they are. They were looking at the scoreboard and they were having long chats over on the sideline during that play. And I think maybe the American coaches decided we'll chop and change around a bit.
I think that's exactly what's happening. It looks like a defensive squad on there. Jersey Joe, who has, that's the American sideline we see. They're pretty excited now that they've gotten their 4th goal. They may be getting back on track. But the Circus looks like they put on a defensive team. Marty Stezak is in the game. He's a defensive player, and so is Ken Calloway. Jersey Joe with the disc, known for his defense and goal scoring. Very good goal scorer. He's been playing the game for many, many years. He's got the disc. He's ready to pull. The Swedes look very ready. 6-4.
Husson starting it for the Americans. A long pull again.
And the Americans are right down there, and they're in a zone. They've decided to play some zone on the Swedes. Shake up the momentum of the Swedes. Maybe stop them running. And there it is, the turnover.
This is what the Americans were trying to do, put pressure on immediately.
Barney Bruner on the near side, throws to a wide open Marty Stezak. It's 6-5. I think the Americans, when they were on the sideline, their defensive team probably got together, did some talking amongst themselves and said, well, we started off the game in the zone. It worked quite well. We may have to go back to it. The Swedes are running extremely well, Colin, and I think the Americans had to go to the zone.
Kenny Johansson in defense will have to realize that the minute that disc is on its way down, that he's got to get there and get it back up the park. If he doesn't, as you say, he's going to find himself in his zone, and he's not going to get out of it. There's going to be a turnover and a goal grabbed immediately.
That's exactly what happened. We'll see what the Americans do here. The Swedes lead 6-5. Peter Martin of the Flying Circus raising the disc. It's a signal to ask the other team if they're ready to receive the throw-off, or as we say up here, the pull. Martin
Martin again wants his team to run forward and close down the Swedes before they start out of defense. This is Kenny Johansson again. He's got to come out.
And they're in the zone.
Yeah. They got to move it. They got to move it.
Mick Johansson over. Swinging this. They're moving it nicely now. Oh, hammer. Nice throw. That's a zone breaker, that throw.
Danny Eriksson in possession. They got to move it.
Yes, and that's the secret against the zone. You must keep moving the Frisbee, and the Swedes are doing it. They can't hesitate because it lets the zone set right back up as it did right there.
Eriksson has got to get rid of it. He's running out of time. They got to move.
They're stalled a little bit. Peter Christensen on the near side here swings it around. Oh, now they're moving it a little bit, but they're not going anywhere right now. Here's the hammer. That should be defensed. Oh, that was a foul. That was a foul.
He was hitting midair, as you could see on camera.
And on the replay, you see both Americans going up. The hammer throw coming from the Swedes. Eriksson, Danny Eriksson, yes, of Sweden went up. And the American Barney Bruner and Jersey Joe collapsed on him before the disc was there. They hit him. It's a foul. But it's been contested by the Americans, meaning that they don't agree with that foul call. They have the right to contest the throw. It goes back to the thrower. Noah Kaufman has the disc from the United States.
But I think it's going to go right back to where Danny Eriksson was over there.
No,
maybe.
It went back to the thrower, Johansson. But Eriksson has it upfield.
Oh,
great grab. And he's got a man in the corner, wide open goal. Sweden 7-5.
Beautiful running off by Bergstrom, Peter Bergstrom. Beautiful running.
Bergstrom just ran down the right side of the field as soon as that throw was made to Eriksson, and he never stopped. He went right by the Flying Circus defense on the right side, going down far end into the end zone. Easy throw for Eriksson. 7-5 Sweden. We've got a barn burner here.
This is a real barn burner, as you say. The Swedes, against all odds, really putting it up to the United States of America at the moment. The Swedes lead 7-5. And a lot of the supporters around here on the Swedish side would say that the Swedes have only just warmed up. Long pull from the Swedes again. And that's out of bounds.
So Tony Zwag will take it in the middle of the field. The disc has to land in the middle of the field. If not, the team has the option of either taking it on the sideline where it went out or in the middle of the field. Tony Zwag of the Flying Circus, the United States team, elects to take it in the middle. Now, the Flying Circus is lining up in the middle of the field in an eye. They run off of this eye. Nice upside down throw, nearly blocked by Gordon Nordstwitz. Danny Weiss over to Tony Zwag. They reset the offense. Alan Siegel on the right side. The flow is moving. Wide open is Ron Olnar. Ronahar, as we call him. Outlets to Weiss, across to Bert Sick, across to Tony Zwag, wide open, and in the corner to near side.
They got a lot of running in
far side. Danny Weiss, easy throw to Rick Geyer. We're 7-6.
Yeah, it was great running because Geyer 1 minute was over on the left-hand side, and suddenly he pops up on the right-hand side.
Exactly. That's part of the tactic of the Flying Circus. They reverse the field very well. They swing it, and then they look right upfield to the area that they were moving to, up the flow, and if it's not there, they reverse it very quickly. Tony Zwag cut underneath, easily hit Danny Weiss, and then to Rick Geyer all alone in the end zone. 7-6, and I think we're going to see some more zone here by the American. He's going to make the pull. Oh, and it's a nice one. Long pull, giving the defense plenty of time. It's a zone. They're coming down in the zone. It's a 2-3-2 zone. 2 points, marking the disc, 1 middle, 2 wings, and 2 deeps.
But that was a clever move by the Swedes, how to get out of that zone. They started it and they got a movement.
It's Peter Christensen on the near side here with the disc being marked by Bert Sick in the zone, having a little trouble. Nice pass over the top to Danny Eriksson. Eriksson fakes. Looks like he's going to outlet. Yes, he throws back to the man waiting for the disc. Oh, Eriksson wide open against the Circus zone.
Oh, great. And he's got forward movement as well.
Terrell Morn easily over to Danny Eriksson. They're moving quite well, Colin.
Yes, they are. The Swedes, when they start to do things like this, it looks as if the whole thing has been very, very well planned.
Well,
good grab by Danny.
that's Jalovic over there on that side. With the disc is Pierre-Olaf Marn. Marn, back outlets it to Botvinson. Botvinson throws it away, and blocked by Mike Quillen. Rickard got the rebound. Oh, Danny Weiss, the full length of the field, but it's blocked. Beautiful block.
That was
by Peter Christensen, playing a great game out there. Up the right side. Circus is out of their zone. They're going to have to play man-to-man. They don't seem to be running with the Swedes. Eriksson has it on the left side. He fakes. Now the zone resets. Across. Christensen. That's Paul Eriksson out there, I believe. That's 22. No, yep, that's Paul Eriksson. He's the captain of the Swedish team. Nicholas Jalovic, he has it. He's being marked closely by Marty Stasovic. And there's a beautiful goal.
Great take by Olaf Morn again.
Beautiful goal.
No wonder they go down and congratulate him. That was something special.
8-6. Whole team's coming out to congratulate him. That was a beautiful grab. As you see on the replay, swung around to the right, the throw up the right sideline, and a beautiful, beautiful extension grab, and the goal. 8-6 Sweden.
Yes, the one thing about the Swedes in this first part of the final, they have played it pretty slow, but then when they want to change, they don't just go up one gear, they sort of go up 2 gears.
They are moving the disc so well, and they're using the speed. I think the Swedes were and are the most fit and conditioned team in this tournament. And we're seeing that right now. Both teams have played 14 games, and maybe taking its toll a little bit early on here against San Francisco. Tony Zweig takes the pull. He's marked closely by Stefan Forsgren on the disc. Zweig out. Oh, beautiful pass up the sideline. Hits Noel Kaufman, Alan Siegel. Oh, the flow is going.
Great.
Wide open. Brian O'Hay grabs it by the goal line. Swedes are backpedaling. Now he's waiting. O'Hay, to Steve Korlang. It's 8-7. America made it look easy there.
Yes, that was a beautiful movement because he held off, and he had opportunities to pass it, and he didn't, and he just held on right till the end.
Perhaps if we can get a look at that replay of how Tony Zweig, he hit the open man, streaking on the right side. That's what they like to do in the middle of the field. They set up in an I formation from the middle of the field and run the cuts off of that toward the sideline, and there it was, all the way up the sideline.
Noel came racing up.
And Steve Korlang gets the goal by Brian O'Hay. 8-7, and there's been no timeouts. The game has been very fastly played. It's the best game of the tournament I've seen, Colin.
Yeah, one of the things I like about the American play at the moment is that they are taking players out. As I mentioned, Noel came and he took a Swedish player right away, and immediately there was a gap there for them.
Yes, and used it. Now Jersey Joe, I think we may see a zone. There's a little bit of discussion on what defense the Flying Circus is trying to play. Jersey Joe raising his hand, trying to get the signal to start.
Hewison is ready.
Throw.
Bang. Away it goes.
Nice pull.
Swedes have got to realize that there is a zone. Jersey Joe has raced up.
No, they're in a man-to-man now, Colin, and Peter Christensen is going to bring it up. They're playing a force middle defense. They're trying to give them, they don't want to give the Swedes the sideline. They're trying to force them in the middle. This may give them a little bit of trouble. We'll see what happens. And starting to rain a little bit more, so on offense, it may be a little bit slippery on the cuts as well as the disc. Here's an easy pass to the sideline. They're using that force middle. Brian O'Hay is guarding Lars Botvinson. He's playing a good game, and he hammer throw up the side. Great grab here by Nicholas Jarlovic. Across field, easy pass to Anders Botvinson to Paul Eriksson, number 22, being marked by Alan Siegel.
The unfortunate thing is he hadn't got a lot of movement up front because the Americans were man-marking very well.
Jarlovic being marked by Steve Korlang. Count's getting up. Here's the goal, though.
Yeah, it's a great grab. What a beautiful movement by Lars Botvinson from the back.
Beautiful. Excellent.
He saw the situation that the Americans had man-marked again.
Absolutely, Colin. I mean, we saw them work against that force middle. The Americans, I think, do not want the Swedes to move up the sideline. They've been doing it very well against the zone and the little man-to-man they played, and they tried to stop it. The Swedes threw the hammer over here, the upside-down throw. The Jalovic made a great play in front of us. He dumped it back to Eriksson. Eriksson moved it around, and it was a nice goal. It's 9-7 Sweden, and it's raining a little bit harder now. It's going to make the pitch very fast, very slippery. We'll see if this affects the players out there as well as the throwing and the catching of the disc.
I think of the two sides who would feel a lot more comfortable in the rain would be the Swedes. I think it would upset the American play.
Especially because these guys are from California. It doesn't rain much there.
Peter Martin sending Bert Sick on his way. But Bert being confronted by Stefan Forsgren.
And the hot defense of Forsgren is getting the crowd really into this match. Sweden leading 9-7, Bert Sick getting the disc, and it looks like the Swedes are playing the forced middle defense. They are. They don't want the Circus going up the sideline either. So they'll let the Circus, and they're not getting open. Rick Geyer does. Geyer from Sick. Number 17 on Geyer.
He
and
was
his
looking for Martin.
Oh, Howard Jaffe being marked closely by John Peter Gardschall. Gets it over to Mike McQuillan, over to Bert Sick. Now they set it up in the middle. Ron Olnar. Great grab by Olnar. Ronar. Peter Martin making a nice cut, and here comes the flow. No, the Swedes did a great job of blocking this flow. Mike McQuillan from Peter Martin. Howard Jaffe keeps squaring the disc. That's what the Circus is doing. He doesn't, Howard Jaffe not using the open man. Here's Mike McQuillan easily. Flow is going now. Now they come back across. Nice grab by Danny Weiss. Weiss looks right, pivots. No one's open. Oh yes, underneath. That's Peter Martin. Bert Sick, fakes left. Now he goes right to Mike McQuillan. McQuillan faking, looks left, Weiss. Oh, nice fake. Had the Swede going past him, and an inside-out throw to Bert Sick easily scores the goal. It's now 9-8 Sweden over the Flying Circus of the United States. Peter Martin on the pole for the United States Flying Circus. San Francisco's Flying Circus.
The Swedes, very interesting and very interested to take it out of the back immediately.
Nice grab. Oh, that was a great grab by Nicholas Jalovic. This guy has been playing a great game. He's been leaving his feet all day.
Yes.
There's Danny Eriksson, number 1. Outlets it across. Now they've got the swing going. Swedes are playing quite well.
When the Swedes actually do get the swing going and they flow it right down, it's something special to watch.
There was a mistake, though. Crossfield, upside down pass. Rick Geyer picked it off. Peter Martin with the disc. Circus sets up Howard Jaffe to the right cut. No. Noel Kaufman goes right. Peter Martin can't get the disc to him, but oh, nice play by Marty Stazak. He was wide open, swings it across to Howard Jaffe to Noel Kaufman. Noel looks right, doesn't have anybody. Now across to Peter Martin. They're setting up their offense. Howard Jaffe, inside out throw, beautiful by Peter Martin. Jaffe goes horizontal to get it. He sets up the offense. Oh, upside downer, easy to Noel Kaufman. And it's tie score. Rick Geyer, it's 9-9. America ties the score.
It was lovely. Rick was kneeling there waiting for it. What an invitation.
Rick Geyer is quite an athlete. He used to be a baseball player at the college level at Stanford University and a former football player as well. He's a big guy and quite a good ultimate player. He was wide open there in the end zone.
He read that situation and he read it beautifully.
Well, now that the score is 9-9, I'd like to swing the mic over to Juha Jalovaara, from Finland, who's been playing on the Finnish national team. What do you think, Juha? What's going on in the game now? It's 9-9. Has momentum shifted or what? What do you have to think? What do you think?
Yeah, I think the U.S. have really got their game going here. The Swedes are feeling the pressure of the good U.S. offense. They're thinking that, oh, these guys can score against anything, and the pressure is getting on the Swedish offense to do the same, and they're making the mistakes now. I think the U.S. are definitely rising. They will be ahead at halftime, in my opinion. So
you think the momentum is shift? Thank you, Juha.
Yes, maybe Ure is right. The momentum has shifted a little bit, but I'm still very impressed with the way the Swedes are performing, because I would think, Andy, at this stage, the United States are a little bit surprised that they're not in the lead and maybe have a 1 or 2 point lead.
Absolutely, Colin, but there was a quick turnover on that forced middle D. Brian O'Hay picks it up in the middle. Sees Alan Siegel wide open on the left side, hits Jersey Joel for the goal. 10-9, that's the first lead the Americans have had since, I guess it was 2-1.
Yes,
it was the last lead.
That was the last time the Americans were in the lead, when they led 2-1, and it looked as if at that stage that maybe they were going to start a runaway. But the Swedes came back, and they have really started to stretch this United States side. It was a good run forward by Jersey Joe.
Oh yeah, Jers is known for his speed. Plays very strong goal scorer for. He's a very strong goal scorer for the Flying Circus, and in this instance, he ran down the field as the replay shows, off the turnover, and wide open.
There's Jersey Joe you're looking at on your screen at the moment, and he's really enjoying himself out there, looking around at the crowd who are supporting the Swedes. But that's not going to worry Jersey. He loves to be in the action, and he's smack bang in the middle of it at the moment. Here's his pull.
It's a good one, forcing the Swedes back into the middle of their end zone. They move it out to the right side. Now they're in the man-to-man, forcing the sideline. They're changing the defenses, and it cost them there. They were not prepared. Alan Siegel with a great block. That's Barney Bruner. Over back to Alan Siegel, who made the block. Trying to set up the offense, Circus is. There it is. Nope. Danny Weiss making the cut in the middle, not open. Steve Corlang not open. Brian O'Hay making the nice head fake. Move left, go right. He's got it in the middle. They call a set play. Jersey trying, he slips, he can't get it, but there it is. Oh, Ken Calloway scoring the goal to make it 11-9, and the halftime. 11-9 halftime for the U.S. They go into the halftime leading by 2.
Well, we take a break off from the Ultimate and Guts World Finals here at Colchester to meet international film and television star Joanna Lumley, who's here to make the presentation of the prizes. Joanne, welcome to Colchester. What about these Ultimate and Guts games? First time you're looking at them?
It's sensational. No, it's not. I saw them first in Battersea about 2 or 3 years ago. In fact, my cousin Toby Green is playing for the English side, and he roped me in about a year ago, and I was thrilled because I'd seen it, as I say, played only once, and I was terribly impressed with it.
They have to be very fit, don't they, these fellas?
It's more than that. They've not only got to be very fit and superb athletes, and we're seeing, this is halfway through the men's finals, and we're seeing some wonderful, wonderful fitness and speed. I'm particularly struck by the disciplines within the game, the fact that there is no umpire, the elegance and the courtesy. I like their end sort of greetings to each other. I think it's just sensational, the kind of songs or cheers they give each other.
It's a little bit different from maybe some of the games that you played when you were at school, like hockey, where you sort of wanted to attack the umpire because they made wrong decisions.
Yeah, I've played lacrosse, in fact, but I do mean this. This seems to me to be the game of the future. It is absolutely spectacular. I'm determined, really seriously, to try to push this in schools. I think that more young people should be playing this. You see, that it needs nothing. All you need is a disc to play with. You can form your own sides. You can roughly work out what kind of a game you're going to play. If you're fast and smart and want to look chic, you can play guts. If you want to play the full game, you play this. I think it's great.
Do you think Guts is the right name for what we have seen?
Well, for the actual Guts Championship, I think it's fantastic. Terrifying. Wouldn't get me out there for anything.
Now, talk to us about your action off the Ultimate playing fields at the moment. You were in the theatre in London for a little while in a play.
I was in an old card play called Blythe Spirit, and we finished at the end of May. At least I finished at the end of May. And I've since been off around the continent doing bits and pieces, and I'm just about to start some writing, you'll be thrilled to hear. So I'm locking myself up in a cottage in Scotland and starting on my first novel.
Also, one of the things which our viewers will know you from around the world is the great television series that you did, The Avengers. Yeah. Are we going to see more of that, or do we have to put up with some repeats?
It's repeats. We finished making that 10 years ago, and I think we all would have loved to have gone on, but it just didn't happen. I'd just like to slip in here, we were pretty fit to make that show.
That's right, I was thinking.
And I only wish that I'd known about this game when I was in training, because this would have been my game, this one. It's lovely.
Maybe you could have played with the England ladies against the Americans.
I'd have loved that, I really would.
So the writing is the next thing planned in the future?
The next big thing, yes. There are television projects and stuff coming up, but at the moment my big thing is writing.
Any possible chance that Joanna Lumley would get a ladies' team together and take up this sport?
Well, I'm very bad at organising anything, but I suppose on a one-off, if I had a bit of secret training, I might be persuaded to join a team.
Well, we're delighted to have you here, Joanna. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Peter Martin getting ready to pull off for the Flying Circus.
I think the Swedes have to get back into the game, and they have to get back into it here very, very quickly in the start of the second half.
Nice pull by Peter Martin. Taken by over to Per Gustafsson. Gustafsson over to the near side of the field.
This is Norvison.
And there, the Circus is in the zone.
Peter Christensen up here to
Mick Johansson, and it's a beautiful grab on the near sideline. But Per Gustafsson. Oh, that's a block beautiful block by Ken Calloway. Oh, excellent. He got a lot of air on that. He outlets to Peter Martin, who throws cross field, and it's a throwaway.
That's one of the few mistakes Peter Martin has made out there today.
Number 15, Anders Bobson, lost it down the right field, and Peter Martin goes up, but it's deflected.
Great deflected and taken down by Olofsson.
Olofsson has been playing an incredible game. This young Swedish player has just been throwing himself around all game, and it's now 12-10 USA over Sweden.
Yes, indeed. Haken will be delighted with that. He took the rebound, as they would say in other sports. A rebound, and well, pulls the Swedes back.
Well, Colin, you know what they call that in Frisbee, in Ultimate? They call that the garbage. When it's intended for someone and it doesn't get it, and it's deflected, and then someone is there to pick up the garbage.
Well, I'll tell you this much, that was nice sort of rubbish with the Swedes. They'd love more of that.
And I'll tell you one thing. What's really quite interesting is that goal has fired up the Swedish team. As you can see them, they're really psyched to come down and play some hard defense, and the crowd is back into the game. When the United States took that lead in the halftime, the crowd kind of went down. They weren't as much as a force, but I think now they're back into the game, the Swedes. They trail by 2, 12-10. We'll see what happens on this point. Important point for both squads.
Botvinson with the pull.
Zwag with the catch over to Bert Sick.
Sick has got a lot of movement ahead of him. Jersey Joe was trying to give him an opportunity, but Sick is still in possession.
Over to Tony Zwag. Zwag fakes, swings it back to Sick. No movement, though. They're going backwards. Nice play. Nice play.
Jersey Joe. Yeah, Jersey Joe made a nice midfield movement there, pulled off and got some space.
And in a bad throw. And Lars Botvinson is down right in front of us here.
But he was hit by 2 of the Americans there. He was hit by Jersey Joe.
And I think Alan Siegel hit him.
Yeah, Alan got a bit close to him as well.
And we'll see what happens here if he takes a sub. No, he's not going to take a sub. But it's Sweden's disc trailing 12-10. Jersey Joe marking John Peter Gartschall on the near side here in Circus territory. Swedes have to go upfield. About 40 meters to go, 45 meters. Jersey Joe playing a sideline trap, not allowing the Swedes to dump the disc back to the swingmen, only allowed to go up the sideline. Looking pretty effective at this moment. No, they get it around.
This is number 23 in play for the first time.
Frederick Steinholz. Oh, near block by Jersey Joe.
Good play. Danny Eriksson over there, yes. 2 of them are combining very well.
Jalovic throws down a perfect pass to Lars Botvinson. Botvinson in the corner.
He's got a lot of movement
Throws
ahead
all
of him.
the way across field, and it's
right across the field to the number 3. That's Kenneth Johansson.
And it's 12-11. 12-11 USA over Sweden.
Well, as they must have heard me over there in the Swedish camp, I said they had to pull their finger out and do something, and they certainly have clawed their way back into this game.
Absolutely. They were down 3, 12-9, clawed back with 2 quick goals, really, on the turnovers by the Circus. Circus is going to have to regroup.
So that's a happy camp you're looking at the moment, the Swedish camp. They've pulled 1 back, 2 back. Now they're back in the action. Yes, they are, and I again look at the American side, and I'm wondering what sort of things are going through their mind at the moment. They were suddenly 12-9 in the lead. Now it's 12-11, and they have to start movement again.
But they're moving nicely. Danny Weiss looking long, doesn't have anyone. Circus resets the offense. Nice cut, doesn't use it. Tony Zwag. Bad throw.
Great dive by Ron Allnar to try and get to it, but he failed, and this is Eriksson back in action again.
Nice grab by number 17, Anders Bokvist, on the far sideline near the Circus bench. Bokvist being forced by Noel Kaufman, and there's a goal by Danny Eriksson. It's tied at 12. We have a game here again. Amazing. 12-12. Great game. Great game. Really was beautiful.
That's really set the cat among the pigeons, because at halftime and just after halftime, the Americans looked as if they were going to step up a gear and maybe take over control of the game. Suddenly they find that the Swedes have clawed their way back, and they've clawed their way back by brilliant play, Andy.
I agree, and one of the things that I'm not so sure that the Circus should be doing, but they are, is forcing the sideline defense. They're giving the Swedes the sideline to work, and it seems to me that type of defense is not what they should be using. They should be switching things up. Swedes love to go down the sideline. They're very quick, and they're pretty tall, so they can lead the passes up high and come down with it. A classic example was that last play where the Swedish player Danny Eriksson got the tying goal, and now the Swedes are pumped. Here comes the pull. Number 14, Lars Botnazin, he's played a great game. He's been in there most of the afternoon. Pulls it down.
Birdie sick.
Over to Mike McQuillan. McQuillan asking the Circus to move closer. Gets it over to Rick Geyer, and there's a throw that was great grab by Bert Sick. Sick made a great grab and a nice throw to Howard Jaffe. And a great drop. Great drop. Full extension grab. The replay will show the determination of Howard Jaffe. Lead throw by Sick. Sick makes a great grab using the body, and then throws a sidearm cross field with a little bit of a curve floating. Jaffe extending for the goal. USA Flying Circus. 13-12.
That's put a smile back on some of the American faces, actually, because that was a delightful play, and even the big crowd here who were supporting the Swedes had to applaud that movement. Sick really opened up and split the Swedes all over the place. Interesting again, Andy, the lineup for the Americans. They're really trying to be positive down there and get things together.
Well, this is part of the Stanford offensive system that they try to run. Brian O'Hay will make a cut out here, or there it is. It is not open, so somebody else will come in to make the cut out. They want to swing the disc. They don't have, there it is. Barney Bruner making the cut. Swedes playing great defense here. They don't want to let this one in. Brian O'Hay gets it from Bruner. Fakes left. Now they'll come back around, I think. Yes, Bruner to PM, all alone. Peter Martin, and a goal. 14-12.
Martin's left leg was in there.
You only need 1 foot in the goal for a score. Peter Martin obviously has caught the disc and put it down within the end zone. The United States is up 14-12. But the Swedes played great defense there, Colin.
Yes, they did. For a little time, it looked as if maybe the Swedes would get away with the situation and force the Americans back. And that's one of the things which they have been doing all day, which I think has surprised quite a few of the American supporters around here, that they have been forced back by the Swedes.
Yeah, the Swedes are playing a great game. And I think anyone on that Flying Circus team would say the same thing. Now again, as we have a lull in the action, it is raining heavily here in Colchester. The game is now 14-12, and this could affect the game. As I tried to explain earlier, the disc gets extremely slippery, which means catching and throwing become much more difficult, as well as cutting on the wet pitch. We have Noel Kaufman readying the Circus. He's going to make the throw off.
You can see behind Noel a few umbrellas up in the air, but I can tell you, no one is moving from this park. What a game we have in store.
We sure do. No one is going to move until the end of this one. Kaufman with the pull. That's Nicholas Jarlovic picking it up. Passes to the right, gets it back. Jarlovic looking. Oh, someone's down in the middle of the field. That'll be brought back. Jersey Joe took a spill. He might have gotten hit.
I don't think Jersey Joe was hit. I just think he actually slipped up himself.
And it's interesting to note that Jersey Joe is wearing turf shoes, and that's why he's not wearing soccer cleats. And this may be a problem with some of the players, the footwear that they're wearing. But here's the disc being marked by Alan Siegel. Sweden on the attack. Nice grab by number 14, Lars Botvesen. Botvesen being forced by Brunner on the sideline. Brunner marking him hard. Very strong marking. Up the sideline and a throwaway. Strong defense by Brunner. He made that. He made that turnover. Tony Zwag picks it up right away. Over to Alan Siegel. He looks upfield. Sees Steve Corlang doesn't use him. Passes it over to Barney Brunner. Brunner looks left, pivots.
Jersey Joe
Hammer throw, wide open. Alan Siegel, close, 15 meters, 5 meters from the Circus goal. Out to Kaufman. Kaufman swings. They set up the offense. And there it is, wide open, Steve Corlang for a goal. That's it, 15-12. USA pulling away a little bit here, Colin.
Yes, the one thing that surprised me about that, I thought the Americans, by going on to the attack and sending 2 men flying forward, that the Swedes would have spotted the move, and they didn't. And now they find themselves another goal down. So the Americans slowly stealing away from them here.
And what's interesting to note is that the Swedes battled back from a 9-12 deficit to tie it at 12. And the Circus surge ahead, 15-12. Ultimate is a game of surges, I really have to say. Momentum shifts back and forth. We may see one here. The Swedes have to score. They know it. Circus is going to come down playing extremely well. They're going to force the defense. They're going to run down hard. We'll see what kind of defense they're using. Now they're up. They've been switching the defenses. We may see a zone for a point here in the rain. A little bit of wind.
Yeah, out there, as Andy says, you can see Jersey Joe trying to look into the rain, which is coming down, and it's actually coming down into the American's face as Jersey Joe.
Jers throws a nice pull down there, down the field. Number 3, Kenneth Johansson moves the disc up field to number 10, Rick Johansson. Johansson back to Johansson combination.
Brothers, playing like brothers.
Number 21, Ingar Ken on the sideline being marked. They're playing a side trap now. Noel Kaufman forcing sideline. They're going up the sideline to nobody. Oh, overthrow. Too bad. Circus knows that this is an important point. Mike McQuillan grabs the disc, dries it off, gets a good grip. Nice movement on the Circus. No, the Swedes are playing great defense right now. Kaufman throws across field to the near side to Steve Corlang. Corlang throws upfield. This is going to be a great play to Jersey Joe. Nice. Jers all alone, waiting for some help. Jers pivoting, looks. He doesn't throw. He has people open. Can't find him. There he goes. No, that's Alan Siegel. Siegel fakes right, hits right to Mike McQuillan. McQuillan.
Allner was available up front and they didn't spot him, and suddenly he got covered. But that was a great grab.
No, Kaufman from Mike McQuillan. Kaufman all alone. They got to stop the play. The Swedish player, number 21, Ingvar Ken, is down. Play will stop. Americans pulling ahead. Game to 21. Colin.
Over there, the Swedish camp, they're looking certainly worried, because after pulling back from 11-9 down at halftime, and then 12-9 shortly after halftime, they now find themselves 16-12 behind. They're leaving it slip away from them, and they have no one else to blame but themselves, the Swedes.
Yeah, really, some of the pass selection I would call is questionable from this angle. Using the sideline, they were working it very well. I think they should cut underneath rather than going long on the sideline. They're just not hitting the accurate throws. It's a little bit of wind. And the Circus is looking for that. That defense is looking for those throws, and they've capitalized on 3 or 4 Swedish errors, and they lead by 4, 16-12. Danny Weiss with the disc, readying his team.
Actually, we might see a new strategy here from the Americans. Again, with Danny having the disc, they might try something different. Let's see what happens.
See what kind of defense the Americans pull here. But it's a very nice pull. The Americans are not down there very fast. Maybe. Oh, it's a man-to-man. They're going to take it into the middle of the field. Disc landed out of bounds. Nicholas Jalovic, he's played a great game. for Sweden, all over the pitch.
Yeah, he's always been in the action. But they need something special here at the moment.
Great
Let's
pass.
see what can happen.
Oh.
Good take.
Lars Botfisen, great grab. Now the sideline trap again. It's worked before. Oh, a nice grab by number 7, Pierre-Olaf Morn. Morn on the sideline being marked by Marty Stasovic. That's the type of thing that the Swedes have to do, cut underneath. There's Weiss with the disc. Beautiful overhead throw, but I think a travel was called on that. It'll go back to the spot where Danny Weiss threw it on the far side near the Swedish end zone.
There's Bert Sick, the man who someone said looks very like a couple of the famous American tennis players.
There's
Roscoe Tanner, he looks like, isn't that the one?
Yeah, he does look like Roscoe Tanner. But Danny Weiss is being marked by Danny Erickson, who's a great marker. There's a beautiful throw by Danny Weiss across field, finger flick. Rick Geyer unloads it. Ken Calloway.
Oh yes.
No, great grab. That was not Ken Calloway. Check, that was Tim Liddy making a great grab over the Swedish defender. 17-12. The Americans are pulling away there, Colin.
Yes, they are, and I said they would try something different, and they certainly did. One big, long one from Rick, and Tim was in there. And that, I think that could be the point that swings the whole game around the Americans' way, because the Swedes are a little bit down. They're dejected, as you can see on camera at the moment. The coach is trying to lift them a little bit. The rain is coming down here in Colchester, and suddenly the Swedes, after fighting back so well in the first half and getting back into the action in the second half, they now find that the World Championship is slipping away from them. The Americans says, but the Swedes may be great from coming from behind, but they have a bit of an uphill task here. The Americans have consolidated their position. They're 17-12, and this American Flying Circus, they ain't going to make too many mistakes from here on in, right down to the wire.
It's not in their character to do that. I think they'll play a more conservative game when they have the Frisbee, and if they see the open pass downfield, they'll use it. So here's the pull. Swedes are down by 5, 17-12. Action resumes after a timeout. We'll see what Sweden is doing, or is going to adjust their offense. Looks like Circus playing the 4th sideline defense. Number 8, John Peter Garschall throws it away. And here it is, Danny Weiss picking up the disc. Weiss fakes. Beautiful inside-out pass to Brian O'Hay. O'Hay fakes right, looks left, Rick Geyer all alone, in between 2 Swedes. It's now suddenly 18-12.
And they made it look very, very easy. They made it look very, very easy.
Well, after that turnover, half the Swedish team was downfield looking for the pass to come upfield from the handlers. It was thrown away within about 15 meters of the goal, and all Circus did was make 2 quick passes for the goal.
The only thing is that people watching us at the moment, Andy, might think that we here in the commentary box are writing off the Swedes and we're down a little bit on them. But you have to admit, watching with us, that the Swedes have made some mistakes, and they have been very, very costly mistakes. In other games, the Swedes would have made mistakes and other teams would have made mistakes, and they could have got away with it. But here, they're up against a very, very highly professional American side, professional in every sense of the word, that they perform brilliantly, the Circus, and they're going to pick up the pieces. You can't afford to drop anything around here.
Absolutely correct. A mistake like that near the goal line is converted easily by a team like this with very good disc skills, good speed, and they've reeled off 6 straight. It was tied at 12. Now it's 18-12. Swedes looking to climb back into this. Forced middle defense by the Circus. Barney Bruner marking hard. Oh, nice throw. It's Paul Erickson with the disc. Another nice one up to Nicholas Jalovic. Jalovic, a beautiful throw. Yeah, they got the flow going now. Danny Erickson. And let's see what happens here. Man wide open. No, you can't use him. Good defense by the Circus. Good covering. Now they're forcing sideline again. Danny Erickson uses the outlet. Back to Jalovic. Jalovic, a hammer cross field, wide open. Goal, Sweden. Beautiful. That's the first one in a long time, Colin. That was a beautiful throw by Eriksson.
Yeah, we had to wait 6 or 7 minutes for that one from Sweden, but when it came, it was, as you say, a beautiful goal. Well, and they can do it. This is the funny thing about the Swedes, that they have shown us earlier on that they can do it. They can get into the American half of the park, and they can play.
Absolutely. That closes the gap to 18-13. But earlier on in the game, the Swedes were winning throughout most of the first half. And they showed right away, early on, that they could play with the Americans. And right now, fortunately, they're down by 5. But that goal has lifted them a little bit. And the crowd as well. The crowd is decidedly for Sweden. And we'll see what happens here. Quick turnover by the Americans. Sweden scores. 18-14 with some defense.
And maybe one of the other things, Andy, up here in the commentary box that we can see looking down there is that the Swedes were playing as a team earlier on in the first half, and they haven't been playing as a team for the rest of the match. There's quite a few good individual performances, but they haven't got it together as a team since late in the first half.
Well, you know, coming out of the first half down 11-9 and the quick goal to make it 12-9 can be very demoralizing, but they did claw back to 12-12. They came back. Peter Martin, a beautiful pass at the sideline to Ron Olnar. Olnar, known as Ronar, back to Tony Zwag. Zwag. Nice defense by Sweden. Circus can't get open. There's Tony Zwag hitting Mike McQuillan in the midfield. Beautiful hammer throw.
Oh,
great grab by Peter Martin. Full extension from the hammer by McQuillan. Let's see what he does with the disc. A lot of times players, after good grabs, do not make good throws, but makes a safe pass. Over to McQuillan, up to Jersey Joe. Jers pivots, looking for the offense to set up. Players are slipping on the wet field. He outlets to McQuillan. McQuillan to, no, he doesn't go to Zwag. Here's a cut by Corlang. Yes, wide open. Corlang fakes, back to Knoll. They like to run this quick swing. Here it is. There's Mike, who's in the corner? Nope, they're going to reverse the field. They're going to come back around. Tony, and back around again to Jersey, and then maybe to the corner. Nope, looks it off. It'll probably come back around. Yes, no, Kaufman. Kaufman fakes right, and there it is. Danny Weiss. Oh, a throwaway. Danny Weiss was wide open. Not a good throw around the marker. Paul Eriksson did a good job of marking Noel Kaufman, but the Swedes get the turnover, and it looks like they're going to call a timeout, and they do. They're tired. They're tired. That defensive team played a pretty good point, and we'll see what happens. Maybe they'll regroup.
One of the things, Andy, when you were doing commentary on that play from the Americans, I was looking ahead of you, and I was trying to figure out one of the movements, and I was watching Peter Martin closely, and Peter stood up there for a long time, and he sort of settled a couple of the Swedes in behind him, and they just couldn't understand why he stayed stationary, and suddenly when there was movement all around him, he suddenly took off, and they were a bit unlucky that Peter didn't pick it up.
That before the tournament started, the San Francisco Flying Circus had not played together as a team since October when they won the national championships. They didn't play together as a team in the spring. They played amongst themselves, new teams. We're back to the action. Ronar is going to mark the disc. It's a sideline trap. They're forcing the Swedes to throw toward the right side of the field. See what happens here. If the Swedes make the right cut to break open the sideline defense. They should try to go against it. We'll see what happens. Ronar, a big marker. He's a big guy. He's at 6'5".
Well,
Number
the Swedes
17.
have moved it out.
Anders Boquist with the disc. Boquist being trapped by Mike McQuillan. Nice. That's the throw I'm talking about. Against the trap into the midfield, but they've got to use it in succession. Back to the sideline. Boquist.
That's Garsholt.
Lars, that's Botvizin, no? Yeah, that's
number 8.
Oh, great grab, Danny Eriksson. Up to Botvizin. Botvizin to number 8, Jan Peter Goschel. Goschel being forced by Jersey to throw up the sideline, but they're using it. They're using it well. They're isolating, working the sideline, being patient. Was a great grab by Eriksson. He's playing a good game. He really has. He's all over the field. Another hammer across field and a goal for Sweden. Oh, a beautiful grab by Ingvar Kanoff. A great throw by Danny Eriksson. That's one of the ways you can beat that sideline, by throwing across field with the upside down hammer throw. And as you see on the replay, this is exactly what Eriksson did. Made a great grab, throws it across field to the open number 21, Ingvar Ken. And it's now 18-14. The Swedes have closed the gap to 4. And we'll see what happens here. The Swedes are fired up, and so is the crowd.
But the Swedes need a couple of more hot plays like that They need to come straight away back at the Americans and maybe try and get 2 more scores on the board quickly if they are to worry the Americans, because I can see the Americans slowing the pace down and being very, very positive about the next 15 minutes play.
The game is to 21. The points are 18 for the United States, 14 for Sweden. Not a good pull by the Swedes. And so Danny Weiss elects to take the disc in the middle of the field. He's bringing it to the center. He's wiping it off. It's a little slippery. It's being marked tightly by number 12, Jens Kingborg. Oh, someone went down.
Come out into the action. There's a foul.
Howard Jaffe went down in the left side. Foul called. Play will begin in a second. It's being put in by Kingborg. Kingborg will hand the disc to Dan Weiss.
That's Peter Bergstorm. The two of them have had a great tussle all day. Bergstorm also, and Bert Sick had a great tussle earlier on in the first half.
There's a partial block. Great try. There's Marty. Lead pass to Howie. Howie's motoring. Great grab, and I think he was in the
yes,
goal.
He was.
As the replay will show, it's quite an excellent play. Howard, a very, very good player, using his superior knowledge of the game. A lead pass by Marty, stays up as the replay shows. He milks the disc until he jumps at the right moment into the goal, but now there's a discussion on whether or not he actually was his foot was over the line.
A lot of people think that he slipped in there.
Yes, he may have slipped over, but it still does not take away from the play that Howard Jaffe made. He milked the disc and almost scored. He's being checked on the goal line. The Circus should run down there fast and set up a quick cut. Actually, Rick Geyer is wide open, but it goes to Tony Zwag for the score. That makes it 19-14. Flying Circus of the United States over the
just
Swedish
2 points
national
away
team.
from victory for the United States, and a lot of people would think around here at the moment, Andy, that the Swedish side would need some sort of a miracle, and they're not getting it, and they're not being helped by the rain, the English weather, which we thought might help them a little bit. The Americans have stretched their lead. They're 19-14 in front. They're just 2 points away from being the 1986 World Ultimate Champions.
And we have a change of players on the Swedish side. The Americans are getting ready. Danny Weiss picking up a little bit of the grass to see where the wind is going. He'll figure out which is the best way to make the pull. The Swedes are putting on new players, trying to score. They're down 19-14.
Yeah, they've brought a couple of fit men, fresh men into their defense, and they want to see what's going to happen, but they'll need a few fresh minds around the place as well if they're going to slow down the Americans and try and get back into this game.
Yes, I agree. It would be nice for them to score a few more points. We'll see what happens here. The Circus is running down in a man-to-man. They're going to force middle. They're using the force middle defense here. Bert Sick will mark the disc. Swede slowly bringing it up to the line. It's a nice pull by Danny Weiss. Gave the defense time to get down. Number 2, Nicholas Jalovic has got the disc over to Jan-Peter Golschol. Golschol up the field on the far side. Number 7, Pierre-Olaf Morn. Morn hits number 5, Gorgon Nordquist. A nice throw up the field to number 16, Peter Christensen. Christensen up to 2, and Nicholas Jalovic scores. Nice flow by the Swedes, making it 19-15. Game to 21. They're still in it, though. I really think even though the margin is 4 points, this defensive point is crucial. They cannot let the Circus come down and score. Then it would be match point if they did. We'll see what type of defense the Swedes come down in. They're making changes now. Look like they're putting on fresh players. Circus is making a few changes.
Yeah, they've introduced one fresh player already. That's Lars-Erik Hamsten. And there's the crowd trying to urge and encourage the Swedes to get back into this game, to claw their way back. They've brought in quite a few new players. The Swedes, fresh legs, number 23 in there.
Lars Botvizen is going to make the pull, I believe. Yes, he is, for the Swedes. They're down 19-15. That goal ignited the crowd. It's getting quite a bit chilly out here. The rain has stopped, but the wind has picked up a little bit. We'll see what happens. The pull is a long one and quite a good one. The Swedes are running down. Tony Zwag picks it up. Throws over to Brian O'Hay. O'Hay looks upfield, fakes. Nice cut by Noel Kaufman, but it's... Oh, what a great grab by Noel Kaufman on the near side. Over to Tony Zwag. The swing. Swing offense being used by the Circus. Brian O'Hay has it now. O'Hay calling for help. Gets Jersey Joe. Jers gets Tony Zwag easily. They're moving well.
There's a lot of forward movement again for the Americans.
There's a timeout. Something happened downfield, perhaps a pick. A pick is when somebody runs into somebody accidentally. A pick is called, play stops, and the disc will go back to where it was. Paul Eriksson marking Tony Zwag. Paul, the captain of the Swedish national team. He's 26. He's been playing the game for a long time, at least 6 or 8 years. Great spirited player. He's playing a great game.
Swedes have got to close the Americans down here because the Americans can actually win the game at this stage.
Absolutely.
From this position.
Nice pass by Zwag, crossfield, finger flick throw to Ronar. Ronar has the disc. Doesn't have anyone open. They've cut three cuts in a row down, but Tony Zwag will get the garbage. That was another garbage catch. It was intended for Mike McQuillan. Bad throw, but Tony was there in position. Second effort catch.
Oh, great take by Jersey Joe.
By Barney Bruner. That was a great grab by Jers. Brian O'Hay over to Tony. Tony finger flick to Mike McQuillan. Open in the corner. Beautiful. And a beautiful grab by Noel Kaufman. 20-15. The Americans are at match point, and that was a perfect example of the Stanford offense being utilized to its utmost. Swinging the disc, and then having it come all the way around and a cutter all alone in the end zone, wide open for the score.
So they're watching a great final between the United States and Sweden, and the Americans now standing on the threshold of victory with big Ron Allnar there, and he's getting ready. And this could be the final play of the championships, with the Americans leading by 20-15.
Sails out of bounds. Swedes will take it from the midfield. In 1983, the Rude Boys from Boston won the first World Championships in Gothenburg, Sweden, 29-11 against Finland. Now we're back into play. Swedes moving it upfield. And a throwaway. Oh, a great block by Tim Liddy. Circus will set up their offense here on the far side of the field. Peter Martin, nice throw. Up to Steve Korlang, back to Peter Martin in the middle of the field. Martin looks for the outlet to Sick, looks it off, goes to Howard Jaffe. Howard, or Howie as he's known. Howie has a disc, he looks for some cuts, doesn't have anything, has PM. Nice cut by Peter Martin. Martin has a disc on the left side. He looks, oh, beautiful cut and a beautiful throw by Steve Korlang. Korlang has a disc about 5 meters out from the goal on the left side. Now they're running the Stanford O. They're trying to swing it around. That's Bert Sick. Now they're in the middle of the field. They'll run a cut. Howard Jaffe. And where is it for the game winner? Nope, doesn't have it. Somebody was clogging the corner.
And Allnar was available there, but he didn't get it. This is Peter Martin.
PM. There it is. Calls for the first cut. Doesn't have it. Howard not open. Peter being marked very closely. It could be the last point of the game. Steve Korlang. Is he in? No, I don't know. There's discussion. Yes, I guess that was the game. 21-15, the final. USA beats Sweden in the finals of the World Championships here.
Steve Korlang getting the winning goal. So the Americans win by 21 points to 15. And you can see from the reaction of the big crowd here at Colchester that they have really enjoyed the final. Brilliant performance from both sides, the United States and Sweden. And the Swedish players, the first over there to congratulate the Americans on a great win.
So a great victory for the Americans, beating the Swedish side by 21-15, and we're delighted to welcome the American captain, Howard Joffe. Congratulations, Howard, a great win.
Thank you very much, Colin.
What about this Swedish side? They put it up to you, didn't they, in that final?
They sure did. We were a little surprised at how strongly they came out, considering the score of the game that we played yesterday, but over a 21-point game, the strength of their team really came through. They're very fast, they're very big, and they handle disc very well. They were clearly well coached and had gone over films of our games and had noticed certain weaknesses that we have, and they certainly used that to their advantage.
In the first half, they seemed to claw themselves back into the game, and then they suddenly were in the lead. Were you worried at that stage?
Well, we're a veteran team. We've played together a long time under a lot of adverse circumstances, and I think that at that point in time when we had gotten down, that it just meant us regaining our poise and bringing it back to them. We've been down before in a lot worse circumstances than that.
Well, you had a lead at half-time, 11-9. Then you went 12-9, and suddenly they're back in it again at 12-all.
Well, we have a certain problem with our team in terms of intensity, as many teams do. Once you get up, sort of edge of intensity, the sort of aggressiveness that most teams would like to sustain over the course of an entire game can sometimes wear off. And they were able, through a lot of their own, obviously, their own great plays, to come back into the game.
But then towards the end of the game itself, you started to come on strong. That's the sort of American way, isn't it?
Well, it's a sign of a veteran team, not the American way. It's a sign of a veteran team that's been through a lot of things together. We've been through, now for most of us, and just as an example to the rest of the world playing the game, the core unit of this team has been together for about 3 years. And when you've played together for 3 years, you know that you can count on certain people in certain circumstances, and we never lost our poise and felt that we could always put it back together again.
So that you're saying basically the strength of your success in these World Championships has a foundation going back 3 years?
Yes, a foundation with players and also with the system that we feel is somewhat different from the rest of the teams in the United States, and one thing that we had hoped to spread amongst the European teams was a different way of approaching the game, a structured offense where we had backs, middles, and ups, a structured defense where, in fact, we were playing 3 different defenses and rotating the defenses to our advantage. If they were suddenly, through whatever resource of their own, figuring out the certain angles that were open, we would switch the defense, put in the zone, put in a different kind of man-to-man. It really is just through years and years of evolution, years of playing together, that we've been able to put together a team like this and a team effort like this.
Well, a great performance, a great team effort, and a great win for the United States. But overall, Howard, you're going to go away with enormous feelings about your trip to Colchester and the World Championships. What are the thoughts that you're going to take away about the strength of the game in Europe?
Well, I'd like first to start with our trip, for most of us, to Lucerne, and playing and living with the Swiss and the Germans there. That started the entire trip off on a positive note. We were very much impressed with the spirit of the game in terms of the unity amongst people, the good feeling, the good camaraderie, the good sportsmanship. And that acted as springboard to the Colchester trip as well. We were very, very impressed with the goodwill amongst all the countries, the effort behind the play, and just the general atmosphere of Frisbee. We come from the United States, and at the level that we play at, many of the games are marred, if you've ever seen the videotapes, by a lot of arguments, unnecessary stoppages of play, and we were very gratified in our games to do away with that sort of thing, so that the flow of the game would continue and sort of the spirit, what we call the spirit of the game, flowed through.
Well done to you, Howard, and congratulations to the United States team again. Well done indeed.
So there we have it, the World Ultimate Championship finals here at Colchester in Great Britain ends with a victory for the United States. They win the Open Championship, defeating the Swedish national side by 21 points to 15.
I saw Columbia University one time do the whole Wizard of Oz before a game. It took like an hour. But it was great. They were really ready to play. They'd driven all night to get it. They hadn't any sleep at all. And here they are running around. They're crazy.
sound corny, but I really think the spirit of the game is fun, and I think that's more so than in other sports because Frisbee is sort of a symbol of the 60s, and I think, you know, as much as possible, Ultimate tries to incorporate those ideals into a competitive sport.
The best parts of the game, to me, are the fact that it's pretty free form, that there aren't any referees, it's on the honor system.
You have to be a strong runner, you have to have a lot of endurance, you have to be in shape, you have to have good hand-eye coordination skills.
Ultimate is played with 2 teams of 7 players. The disc is thrown from player to player down the field, but you can't run with the Frisbee. So every time you catch it, you have to stop and establish a pivot foot, just like in basketball. The game starts with something that's called a pull. The defense throws a disc to the offense, and this is just like a kickoff in football. Then the disc is thrown from player to player until someone throws it to a player in the end zone, and then you've scored a point. Another really exciting aspect of the game is the constant possibility of a turnover. If the offense throws it into the ground or out of bounds, that's a turnover. And then if the defense knocks it down or intercepts it, that's a turnover too. Immediately after a turnover, the other team gets a disc and starts playing offense right away.
All right. Go. Right into it. I need help on the head. Help, Deke, help. Go, Deke.
While it's a regular sport with scores and times and fouls and rules, you can still go to a tournament and see people dressed in Hawaiian shirts and bandanas and wearing beads and all kinds of funky clothing and playing music on the sidelines that would not be acceptable or it would be very distracting in other kinds of sports.
I have a really low opinion of sports in general as something which encourages competition, which is sexist, which is sort of brutal, you know, mock war. I hate football. I can't stand spectator sports. And that's sort of really odd for me to be playing a sport and really getting into it and enjoying it.
What brings us all together is a feeling of sports personship. People want to just play the game, want to make their own calls, want to have fun, and keep the control of the game in the player's hands.
That's what Ultimate is. It's a lot of diversity. It's a lot of really good energy. And I think that's why they call it Ultimate.